Welcome to Kiss the Reviews. I'm Armando. That's Corey. And today we're doing 1999's Life. And before we get started, if you would like to follow me or Corey on Twitter, you could follow me at Junior D's. You could follow Corey at Corey_idol. And Corey has some important news for everybody.
Well, I don't know if it's important, but it's definitely exciting.
It's exciting.
It is very exciting. As you know, I fancy myself a bit of a writer, and I had recently started shopping my finished manuscript, and it's about to be published. I signed an offer letter, got the whole professional contract thing and everything done. So, yeah, your boy's about to be published. I don't have many details yet, but as Armando said, if you follow me or him, you'll probably hear as soon as details emerge.
Awesome. So you finally wrote all of your sexual conquest manuscript type deals.
Yes, I figured out how to have two sexual experiences stretch 300 pages.
Lots of candles. Yeah. So with that said, congratulations first. Let's get into Life, 1999. This film stars Eddie Murphy as Ray Gibson, Martin Lawrence as Claude Banks, and this also features a slew of other great actors and comedians, including Obba Babatunde as Willie Long, Nick Cassavetes as Sgt Dillard, Anthony Anderson as Cookie, Bernie Mac as Jangle Leg, Miguel Núñez as Biscuit, Michael Taliferro as Goldmouth, Barry Shabaka Henley as Pokerface, and Ned Beatty as Dexter Wilkins.
Yes, and if you don't recognize a lot of those names, you will recognize almost every single face because they show up everywhere.
Yes.
And it's a fantastic collection of comedic actors. And dude, this is such an underrated movie, especially in the Eddie Murphy catalog of movies.
Yes. I was actually going to say that when you think Eddie Murphy movies and funny Eddie Murphy movies, this one typically doesn't come up in conversation, but this is one of the funnier ones.
Oh, it's great. And it's one of his last hard R comedies.
Yeah.
Where he's dropping motherfuckers and all kinds of shit.
Yeah,
and it's great. This is Eddie Murphy. If you're younger than, I don't know, 30 maybe, and you're watching this,
probably, yeah.
This movie and past is the Eddie Murphy we grew up with. This soft ass, dream girls, nutty professor bullshit you got.
Daddy daycare franchise,
Dr. Doolittle bullshit. Come on, man, that ain't Eddie.
Yeah, no.
Not saying he can't do it, because dude's still making shit tons of money just pretending that he's going to do a movie, and everybody starts talking about him. So I'm not hating on him. I'm just saying I miss old Eddie.
Yeah, no, this is definitely old Eddie, and Martin Lawrence at his peak and at his finest. So let's jump into this one. So this film opens present day, 1999, at a funeral at a prison, and the funeral is for Ray Gibson and Claude Banks. Willie Long starts to tell the story about when he met the two dead men back in 1932 when they first got to the prison.
And why is Heavy D in the prison?
I was just going to say, I don't know if you noticed, but Heavy D is one of the dudes digging the grave.
Oh, I know. I know when I see Heavy D.
The movie then cuts to Claude and Ray. They get in trouble with the local club owner, Spanky, who is played by our guy, Rick James. And I didn't even recognize that this was Rick James, in the moment as I was watching it. It wasn't until I was looking at the cast afterwards, and I was like, wait, what?
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
And what was crazy is you recognize his face. You're watching him the whole time going, who the fuck is that? I barely was paying attention to a word coming out of his mouth because I was trying to figure out desperately who it was. Because, I'm 43 And even though there is literally a computer full of all of the information in the universe right sitting in front of me in the palm of my hand, I just sat there and wondered like a fucking moron. Who is that guy?
Ray talks his way out of trouble, also gets Claude out of trouble, and they just have to make this liquor run for Spanky down somewhere in Mississippi.
Which, hi, Northerners, Uncle Corey here. I cannot stress this enough. Don't go to Mississippi.
Nah. There's nothing that I can think of that I'm like, yeah, I'd go to Mississippi for that.
When I think of one of the worst places I could possibly go to in this country, that is it.
I mean, it's definitely towards the top.
That's pretty much where my list ends and begins. It's just all of the cities in Mississippi, let alone 1932 Mississippi.
Exactly.
You are so fucking tan in 1932 Mississippi. I would never see you again. We would have to green book the entire trip.
On the road, we get to really meet Ray and Claude. Ray keeps talking about his plans of opening Ray's Boom Boom Room. Claude shows that he literally wants nothing to do with Ray, and they argue the entire trip.
He's an uptight asshole.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, he's a banker.
No.
So,
yeah.
There you go. Enough said. But along the ride, and I believe it's in Mississippi, they stop at a diner to get some pie and coffee, and they run into Billy and his sister, the owners of this whites-only establishment. And this whole scene is funny because they walk in, Eddie Murphy takes what they call the social cues. And he's like, oh shit, like, this isn't New York. Like, we walked into the wrong fucking place. We need to turn around and get out. And Claude just keeps pressing the matter.
I'm not driving no 35 miles to get no pie, lady, ma'am.
Well, no, he's a bit of an idealist. And
yes.
that's cool. And we all want to live in the idealist world. But unfortunately, we don't.
No, not in Mississippi.
And Ray is desperately trying to help him out here.
Yes.
And
yes.
Now this is what I don't understand about racism. Okay? Like, if you're fucking stupid, I get it. You're different than me. Whatever. You're a fucking moron. I can't help that your cousin's fucked at some point in history. Not my problem. However, you know what is universally kind of one color in this country? Motherfucking money.
Yes.
And when a dude takes out a wad of fucking cash, whether he's a gay dude looking to buy a wedding cake, a black dude in Mississippi in 1932 trying to buy pie, or anybody anywhere, when he has a wad of fucking cash, name your price and cut your bullshit. That's why Mississippi still looks like it did in 1932. Because you think money's actually different if it comes from somebody of a different race than you. That's fucking insane.
Yes, absolutely. They finally take off. They get to Slim's and grab the booze. So they load up the booze, and Ray decides that they should go to this bar around the corner because they need to celebrate, I guess, of getting the booze and, relax a little bit.
Hi, those partaking in criminal activities. Uncle Corey here. One, don't ever go to celebrate halfway through the job. Job wasn't to go down and get a truck loaded with 36 cases of booze.
Yes.
You still got to drive that shit back to New York.
Yep.
A, you're leaving the product in an open jalopy in the middle of a fucking swamp around a bunch of other fucking drunks at this fucking club. What are you doing?
Yeah, this whole thing.
And then to actually go into the bar and spend that much time there. Just go back to New York. You already had the whole whites only experience. Why do you want to stay in this place any longer? Regardless of the hooch they got, the music they got, the hooers they got, you don't need any of it. You need to get back to New York where you know exactly what fucking time it is.
Yep. And I'm going to tag that with don't do that. Just people traveling. Okay. First of all, yes, you're doing criminal things here, right? Just do the job. And this is one of the only times that I agree with Claude through this whole movie. Like, dude, we got the shit. Let's get the fuck out of Dodge. Let's get back to New York where we know things and are comfortable and whatever.
Yes.
Don't, if you do decide, let's go have a drink or two, don't show up at a place that has a poker table with locals playing poker and decide to play poker and bet all your money with those people. You know why? Because at least one of them, if not the whole table, especially in Mississippi, where everybody's like in the good old boy club, they're gonna gang up on you and take your money, which is exactly what happens here. They go to the bar. Claude finds a nice young lady to give his $2 to. Those were the days, right? And he goes and has sex with a hooker while Ray plays poker with a bunch of people he doesn't know. And he gets his shoes, watch, and his hat taken from the goddamn table because the one main dude there is cheating. And now, with no gas money to get home, they argue and then leave. They come up on the dude that cheated Ray, and he's a bloody dead mess because the local cops had killed him. They get caught by fucking Dirty Mike and the boys.
I appreciate the hustler. What was his name? Hancock or
yeah, something like that.
Some shit.
I forget.
I appreciate his gusto.
I was gonna leave, Sheriff Pike. But your wife, she begged me to stay.
But this is when keeping it real goes wrong, if you remember that skit.
Yes.
Because this was probably a situation where he was maybe going to get jacked in the knee with that nightstick because, you know, that's what redneck inbred fucks like to do.
Yeah. Especially in 1932.
Yes. And then probably get robbed.
Yes.
But he wasn't going to get dead.
Yes.
Never say anything about fucking somebody's mother or wife or anything. That's just the number one rule.
That's a good idea. That's number one when keeping it real goes wrong.
Yes.
Because you think you're doing some shit. And then, you know, the knife cane and all that shit. Awesome. But, dude, you're going to be dead. You had to know you were dying. And if you're, like, prepared to die, okay, but why are you stealing watches and shit from other people? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Exactly. I didn't like his whole fucking vibe there. Wasn't a fan of. And Ray and Claude here actually do something else that I'm not a fan of, which is when people show up, they're like, oh, no, here's the situation. What about your experience so far has made you think, oh, these are the reasonable guys in town?
Yeah, these are the reasonable white rednecks that we're coming across.
Yeah, like, dude, you had a chance to run.
Yep.
Just go.
Yep. Yeah, as soon as
you don't owe that dude shit. And I get it, your daddy's watch, but also it ends up putting you in prison for life.
Yes. Just one more, don't do that. Hi, folks. If you come across a dead body, we've covered this a bunch of times in a bunch of different movies. But in this particular situation, if you happen across a dead body and you're like, oh shit, this is the guy, dead body, and you see people walking towards you, don't wait and give them time to completely surround you so you have nowhere to run. As soon as you see people go, oh shit, boom, and you're gone. Like, that's just ghost everybody. Don't do what they do and stick around and wait for everybody to circle you with guns and then escort you oh so gently to the local authorities. Don't do that.
Yeah, this was a bad move all the way around.
Absolutely. So they get taken in, they get arrested for murder. They try to bribe their way out of it, but the sheriff walks out on them. They go to the court and get life in prison in the Mississippi State Prison doing hard labor. So it shows them first getting there. They get the gun line speech from the main guard, Sgt Dillard. Ray and Claude are the new meat, and they start trying to assimilate. And these scenes of them trying to like get along in the prison are great. from the first dig in the ditch scene to Ray reading the letters from people because nobody can read there.
Oh, no, Marlene. Jenny died too. Jenny and Marlene both dead. Been a big tornado in which your mama and your daddy were both killed.
That whole scene is great. Like, Eddie's comedic timing in that scene is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
And then you get introduced to Bernie Mac in that scene, too, as Jangle Leg.
Dude, that guy just fucking lit up a screen. Every scene he's in, he's fucking great.
Yeah.
And you can barely understand what he's saying half the time.
Yes.
Because of his character, and yet he's still just crushing fucking scenes.
In all reality, all these guys and all these other prisoners, they're playing like little bit parts. They have some lines here and there, but all in all, this is an Eddie Murphy vehicle. This is a Martin Lawrence vehicle. Everybody else is a bit part. But every time Bernie Mac is on screen, you can only focus on Bernie Mac because he's that good.
Yeah, he was just different, man.
He was built different.
I ain't scared of you motherfuckers.
Then you get the cornbread scene where
the classic scene.
It's a classic scene and a classic line from Eddie Murphy where he's sticking up for Claude, like, don't give the dude your cornbread.
There's gonna be consequences and repercussions.
And quite frankly, I totally agree with Ray in this situation. You ain't eat my motherfucking cornbread.
No, dude, listen. There's some rules in prison. Like, you give up the cornbread, you're giving up the cornbread for life. Like, that's...
Look at me. I got enough problems when I get in on day one, let alone just handing over my food like some fucking simp. That ain't fucking happening. It ain't fucking happening.
Ray then here starts planning his escape. Claude wants nothing to do with it. He doesn't want anything to do with Ray at all. In fact, when his fiance comes to visit, he tells her to get his lawyer cousin Melvin to file an appeal for just him and not Ray.
Yeah, this is some cold-blooded shit. And let me just tell you, from a self-preservation, because you got to be a selfish asshole to take this route if you're Claude, right? So, to all the Claudes out there, hi, Uncle Corey, you're not guaranteed anything. So don't put all your eggs in one basket, alienating people you are going to need later in life.
Yes.
Just from a selfish standpoint, you cannot do that. You have to be smarter than Claude here. And at least try and get an appeal for Ray too. Because then you know, even if something goes tits up, Ray's got your back. Because you had Ray's back.
Yep.
It's that simple.
That's the thing. And I understand, like, hey, Ray got me into this trouble so he can get himself out and blah, blah, blah. I understand that reasoning. But Claude is still like the idealist here. Like, he's still like, if I do the things right, then the right things will happen. It's like, that's not how fucking life works, bro. Period.
No.
So
never.
Yeah, you got to include Ray in that because in the end, just in case this doesn't work out, at least Ray knows you had his back and he'll have yours and you're good to go.
Yeah, and I can't stress this enough, actually. Just in life, in real life, have different kinds of friends. Have a friend that knows a little criminal shit. Have a friend that's straight edge as a motherfucker. Have a friend that knows law. You know what I mean? Broaden your horizons out. Because if you only know one type of person, you're only going to do one type of person's shit. And you don't ever want to be in that kind of box. You want to be broad with everything.
So Claude then goes to Ray about his escape plan after he finds out that his appeal was denied. And Ray takes this and seizes this opportunity, invites Ray to escape with him, starts a fight with the guard, and takes his rocks that he uses to count the people getting off in the mornings. This is the first of many attempts to escape said prison, but they break out, they run through the backwoods of Mississippi, only to get caught and thrown in the hole for a week. We're then taken to 1944. Everyone's a little older. There's a new line of inmates that gets the gun line speech. Can't Get Right is one of the new inmates, and he doesn't speak, so they find out that he's like this amazing baseball player, and he's now the star of their like little baseball team league thing that they have with the inmates.
Can't Get Right is kind of the life I would like to have. If I was made of money, all he wants to do is play baseball, not talk, and fuck.
I was gonna say, if it just came down to not talking, I think that's the life that you would want. You don't want to talk to anybody.
I really don't.
A baseball scout then shows up for like the Negro Leagues. He comes down to the prison to check out Can't Get Right, and Claude and Ray act as his handlers to try to get all three of them out of prison. We then get the scene where the warden's grown daughter now has a baby, and we find out the baby's black. The warden then holds the baby up to all the inmates' faces and then finally asks who the baby's dad is. And this, going back to Bernie Mac stealing every scene, all the inmates then start stepping forward, proclaiming that, you know, they're the dad and yada yada, until you get Bernie Mac.
Out of Pepe.
I have to stop and acknowledge this, because when I first saw this movie, I didn't really know who Bernie Mac was.
No.
Like, Kings of Comedy hadn't come out yet, had it?
No, he was. I'm 90% sure he was still rocking like the Def Comedy circuit.
That's what I think. So, like, I didn't really know who he was. I recognized him, but I didn't know him as I know him now, like the great Bernie Mac. Right. When this scene happened, because I saw this in the theater, when this scene happened, I fell out of my chair.
Oh,
like,
great.
His delivery's perfect. I want to think the laughter from the other inmates was a genuine laughter.
The way he's carrying himself, the way his head is, the way his mouth is positioned, everything about this is so perfect. And there's a little test you can do, again, in real life, where if you're at a party and you don't know a lot of people, just drop a random "Ada Pappy," and whoever starts laughing, just go kick it with them. You're good to go with that group. Those are your people.
And then we Can't Get Right getting a pardon from the baseball scout.
This dirty motherfucker.
And Ray and Claude are left out.
Yeah, and they're getting fucked every which way they can.
Yes.
No matter what they do, they are constantly fucked.
Ray and Claude then get into a fight here. And they break up for good. Like, they're not friends anymore.
This is where, actually, hi, fellas. Uncle Corey here. Being a man means you can also talk about what's really bothering you. Claude wastes 28 years not talking to his best friend because he couldn't say, I really felt like that was our only way out. And I'm really bummed out.
Yeah.
He had to make it all about all sorts of different shit and fucking just blew up and wasted 28 years not talking to him.
Yep.
That's astounding.
Take it from a grudge-holding motherfucker. It ain't worth it a lot of times. It's really not.
You were right.
And by the way, I got to interrupt you here. I'm sorry. For those of you out there that I am currently holding a grudge against, and you all know exactly who you are, that little speech Armando gave, which was very nice, that was not an invitation for you to come and try and break bread, okay? That advice was for our audience. That's for the rest of you. Armando and I are broken. We're done.
Yes.
There is no fixing these two men. We're just trying to save the rest of you.
We're here to help others, not ourselves. We're long past the saving stage. So
so don't call me with some like, I appreciate your maturity. And hey, what were we fighting about? We're still fighting, bitch.
And you know what? I don't know what we're fighting about, but we're still fucking fighting.
No.
We then get this montage of all the years passing until it's 1972.
Which I really liked.
No, I really liked it too. You get, all of the different shots of different things happening in the world, and you get the shot of Eddie Murphy trying to escape again in the crop duster.
And I like how they show everybody fading away, just kind of fading away.
Yeah.
We didn't have to go through every single body's death, and just passage of time. People are here, then they're gone.
Yep.
I really like that part of it.
Yeah, no, that was, and it was a good transition. We talked about this in When Harry Met Sally. When you put something in the transition over the years to either show the years passing or just to fill space so it's not just a fade to black, it always just helps the movie along. And this, because so many years had passed and you have all of like the current event stuff leading up to that, it was just a good like little filler so that you didn't have to make this movie 2.5 hours long.
Oh, exactly. That's what I said.
You know what I mean?
They could have definitely made this into like a vanity or ego thing and tried to tell like a very long, drawn out story about prison reform and these guys dying, wasting away here. But they didn't. They stuck to their guns. They kept it nice, tight. It's a little longer than what a comedy should be, but who gives a shit? Because it's Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence. Take as much time as you need.
Exactly. So it's now 1972. Ray and Claude still hate each other. Claude gets caught after he steals a pie from Sgt Dillard's house. And his punishment is to stand on a case of beer bottles.
And old ass Claude eating a hot fucking pie.
Yes.
Dude, Martin Lawrence's little subtleties. And I'm not 100% sure there isn't anybody out there that can do that kind of like, oh, goddamn, like that halfway goddamn he does.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, how he does it. It's fucking hilarious, though.
Sgt Dillard here tries to give Ray the gun to say, hey, if he moves, you could shoot him. But Ray's smart mouth also gets him in the same situation, standing on the bottles. And they start talking and they make up. And here's another scene that it's them two, and it's a side shot with both of them in frame, and they're kind of just going back and forth. And this, to me, seemed more like a riff than script, because Martin Lawrence, you see him kind of shift, and then he makes the comment about his toe getting stuck in the bottle. And Eddie Murphy's laugh.
Yes.
That seems so like Martin Lawrence is fucking around and Eddie Murphy is just genuinely laughing, and they're like, fuck it, dude, we're keeping that whole bit in. Like,
yes. And it's amazing.
No, it's absolutely like some of the best parts of this movie, whether you can tell or not, were just riffed scenes and riffed little bits and that's the brilliance of having a cast like this with a bunch of comedic actors and stand-up comedians that are part of your cast, because you get stuff like that where you wouldn't normally. You know what I mean?
100%.
So we then see Ray and Claude get transferred into the superintendent's mansion to work instead of working digging ditches. Claude then drives the superintendent, Wilkins, to pick up this new superintendent because Wilkins is retiring, and he sees that it's the cop from when they were arrested in 1932.
So I know he's long been dead now, and I don't even know who we would get to replace him. But we desperately need a guy like Arlie Ermey back in movies.
Yes.
Who is a nice person, who is a good person, who's never displayed outside of a movie a racist bone in his body, but can so vilely drop horrible, disgusting words with such ease that you just believe that that's who he is as the character. Whether he's the drill sergeant in Full Metal Jacket, this character, whatever, Pike, Superintendent Pike.
Yeah, special. They don't make them like that anymore.
Whatever character he plays, he's one of those guys where whatever character he plays, he owns it. He has a pocket, he sticks in it, and he fucking owns it.
He gets back, he tells Ray about it. And then when they're out like shooting pigeons or whatever, Ray then sees that that Superintendent Pike has his father's watch from 1932. He calls him out on it, takes his gun, threatens to kill him. There's a whole kerfuffle, and Pike tries to shoot Ray. Wilkins then kills Pike, and they tell the cops that it was a hunting accident. And Wilkins says that he's going to drop all the pardon paperwork in the morning and get these guys out because he believes that they're innocent. But then he dies on the shitter that night before he can do that.
And this is a prime example of when somebody says, I'll do it tomorrow.
Just right now. Just get it done. Just get it done.
No. Because he even makes a point of saying, like, no, Claude, I'm not your boss anymore.
Yeah.
Like, not anymore. Well, that's great.
Yeah.
Tell them.
Yes.
I don't give a fuck if you know it. And by the way, by saying tomorrow, yes, you are my boss. Legally, you are still my fuck. I am still
tomorrow
in the fucking pen until tomorrow. Draw up the motherfucking papers right now.
Well, well, and you mentioned it before. These guys have gotten fucked at every single turn, throughout this. Every escape, every, the whole can't get right thing. That was like a legit way to try to get out. That wasn't an escape.
Yeah. And that guy actually seemed like he was legitimately going to help him.
Yes.
And he just ended up being another slimy bastard like the rest of them.
So, like, they have gotten screwed at every turn in this movie. If somebody says, I'll draw up the papers in the morning, that's when you look back and go, we're old as shit. Can you just do that now so I can, I don't know, get back to the life from 45 fucking years ago?
Yeah, tomorrow's a roll of the dice at this age.
Exactly.
I've been doing hard labor for like the last 40 fucking years. How about you go ahead and use your hand to sign a pen or to sign a piece of paper, you fucking dick.
We get to the final stage. Ray and Claude are old as hell. They're still in prison, but they're in the infirmary now because of their age. Claude tells Ray about this escape plan. Ray wants nothing to do with it, doesn't want to hear anything about it. It basically tells Claude to go kick rocks. Cut to the infirmary on fire, and everyone gets out except Claude. Ray then runs in after him, and we cut to the next day when the authorities are sifting through all the rubble, and they find both the burned bodies of Claude and Ray in the building.
And can we just go back real fast? The scene where they're playing poker with the younger guys.
Yes.
And they go through the whole thing about him like sniffing somebody's ass.
You know how they get in here, don't you?
Tell them how to get in.
People smuggling in their ass. Say what? I ain't lying on the truth. I know the motherfucker they bringing in here.
Yo, I fucking died.
Dude, that is a great scene. And again, Eddie Murphy, I like the way Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence play off each other in these scenes, especially because when it's just them two, it's good when they just riff together. But when there's other people involved, watching Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence play off each other to make everybody else laugh is freaking brilliant. Like,
it's great.
Can we just say we need another Martin Lawrence, Eddie Murphy vehicle? Like, yesterday.
Yeah, I don't think Bad Boys 4 is coming out anytime soon. So might as well just get another Life kind of movie going.
Exactly. So cuts to present day, and you have Willie explaining that Ray and Claude plan to swap the bodies from the morgue and escape in the ambulance. It then cuts to Ray and Claude enjoying a Yankees game at Yankee Stadium, as the text on the screen tells us that they both now live together in Harlem. This movie was brilliant the day it came out. And again, I saw this in theaters. I've seen this multiple times over the years. And I need to revisit it more often because I had such a good time watching this. And the way... I know you talked about like, oh, they could have made this about prison reform, and there's like little droppings of, social issues and shit throughout this whole thing. And the way they do it is brilliant. I love it.
It's fantastic. Frankly, I was shocked to know that there was a racial problem in America at any time. No, this movie was fucking fantastic. Like you said, everybody played their parts so well.
Yep.
Bernie Mac again. You guys are so good at correcting us when we fuck up.
Exactly.
So you'll have to let us know how big Bernie was at this point, because in my mind, we had only seen like the "I ain't scared of you motherfuckers" Bernie Mac.
Yes.
That was his moment, and then it kind of transitioned into Life, and then Kings of Comedy, et cetera, et cetera. But my timeline may be all fucked up with that. But regardless, Bernie Mac was fantastic. Love just seeing him anymore.
Yep.
He's one of those celebrity passings, because a lot of them you're like, oh, that's sad, and you kind of move on with your day. He's one that still kind of fucks me up, man.
Yeah,
because he had such phenomenal potential.
Be
massive.
His comedy, his comedic acting was brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
His stand-up was brilliant. But what I don't know that people give him a lot of credit for is his range.
Yes.
As an actor, and even as a comedian, but as an actor, his range, and you see it a little bit when Biscuit gets shot.
Yes.
When he's escaping, so he basically, it's suicide by armed guard,
and he stopped all of the whole Jangle Leg shit.
This whole scene of him like just doing a complete 180, and the serious, like, dude's got range. Like, again, like you said, I know a lot of celebrity passing, like, oh, sad, but like this one, dude could have been one of the biggest things, and he was on his way anyway.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But yeah, he was amazing. I love the dude, but I love all these guys that are in this.
No, they were great. They all played their parts well. And the one Easter egg that I did want to mention, because we're not that channel. We don't drop Easter eggs. However, when he's fighting, what was it?
Goldmouth.
Goldmouth.
Yep.
And he tells him, I know a bitch named Della that hits harder than that. That is a reference to Harlem Nights.
Yep.
And absolutely. It's fucking dude, just a little part of me was like, yeah, I got that. I see you, Eddie. I see you.
But yeah, dude, overall, this movie absolutely still holds up.
Yes.
The comedy from front to back is fantastic. And everybody just does there's not even one single person, not even an extra in this that I'm like, I could have done without that.
Yeah, no, everybody plays their parts very well.
Yep. And there wasn't anything, we always talk about like, oh, this could have been longer, this could have been shorter. This was perfect length-wise.
No, when a comedy is this good, comedy, horror movie, any movie really, when it's as good as this is, you don't really care about the time. You're not looking at it. It's not a big deal.
There
are many a movie we do where I will pause it to go take my dog outside, grab a drink of water, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'll just be like, I gotta go, whatever. Pause. 45 fucking minutes.
Dude.
Are you shitting me? Never once did I do that.
I don't even get up half the time. A lot of times I'll just hit the remote just to see I am a time checking motherfucker when I watch some of these movies. And I'm like, God damn it, I got another half an hour. You know what I could be doing right now?
Yeah.
Anything.
No, this was time well spent.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Appreciate Steph's patience in us getting to this.
Absolutely.
Because she requested this back in February for Black History Month.
It's going to be consequences and repercussions.
Sorry, Steph. But speaking of requests and how to get the requests in, you can go to PayPal. All the info is in the description. But what movies do we have coming up?
We have Clerks, another Steph request, by the way. Toy Soldiers, Remember Me. I can't fucking do that with a straight face. I can't believe somebody wants us to do that. Christina, this is the thing, Christina. It's not that we don't dislike the movie. It's we know we're going to fucking destroy this movie.
Yes.
And we know that it seems like you like it.
Yeah.
And I feel bad. I'm laughing because I feel really bad what's about to happen.
And FYI, we don't know when we get requests whether people are requesting because they like the movie or because they hate the movie. They want to see what we're going to do to it. So that's just some info for you.
And we have Secret of My Success and Beautiful Girls rounding it out. Beautiful Girls, I know our boy Janky TV keeps tossing us just softballs for us to just knock out of the park, and we really appreciate it. If you can make our job so much easier with some of these movies.
Yeah, it's like slow pitch beer league softball. Like that's like,
and we're Ken Griffey Jr.
I love it. I love it. Well, cool. We got some good movies coming up. We got some movies that we're gonna crush coming up. So, with that said, for Corey, I'm Armando. This is Kiss the Reviews, and this was 1999's Life.